Good evening. Good evening. Everyone, it's a good evening. Just wait to fire things up a little bit here on this evening of Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. Hello, Fletch. Hello, Fletch. Hello, hello. How are you doing, Fletch? What's new? What's new? Hello, brother. Good evening. Good evening. What's how you guys doing? I don't have really any. Hey, Leslie. By the way, great job with the floor. Great job with the renovations. Really like the pictures. Thank you for sharing those. Hello, Ancient. Hello, Garden. Hello, Fletch. Oh, you guys put me in a good mood already. Hope you are well. Aaron, hello. Hello. It is Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. It's 7:46 in the evening. I was hunched over the laptop for a little while today, trying to find all the 1099s and going over some receipts and stuff for the year. And that appointment is on Thursday, so I have another day or so of work to do for that. Driving in San Francisco? No, you're not driving. You're only thinking of driving because texting and driving would be illegal. Even though a lot of people do it. Hey. The green, well, that's one way of doing it. Hello. That's an interesting handle there. Are you like the Jolly Green Giant or something? And I'm just looking at Twitter right now. Twitter, right? Twitch. I was thinking of getting even though I tend to be co-streaming right now on YouTube, I was thinking of doing a combined chat, but those jerks at YouTube, they won't let me do anything. I can't monetize, no super chats, no nothing, because my content is harmful. So for all of the people that are crying a river right now that they lost a channel, whatever, on YouTube or whatever in the past, I still can't get monetized on YouTube because I'm just that dangerous. Me and my however many followers, loyal as they are, I do. There's man. I don't even know what to say. I heard that there was this leak. I don't really know a lot of details about it. Some of you probably have followed the story in Washington, D.C., and some, I'm just going to say, idiots were actually using an internet chat forum for sharing information. And I know that both political parties do it, but wow. I mean, come on. I tell you what, I'm not having a whole lot of confidence. I'm not saying that, it's things were better under the older administration or it would have been better with someone else. But boy, it's not instilling a lot of confidence in me. The lack of rigor and we have people cursing on the Senate on congressional hearings, or one of the I don't know which hearing it was. It was Kash Patel was there and a military general, and I don't know. And people are cursing in Congress. I know it's been ongoing for a while right now, for several years, but watching some of the 1999 videos and 2000 videos, I can't believe how far we have fallen. Wow. As corrupt as it was, at least people, were well dressed and well spoken while they were, being corrupt. At least they sounded like a respectable Corrupt people. Wow, we've fallen so far. Hey, crypto. All them haters. Was it placed? It could have been placed. I'm not doing a deep analysis on it. I don't know. Everyone, I mean, obviously, things have happened in the past that I thought would be over in a week, and they wound up taking several years. So don't look for me for guidance, but right now I don't see any reason to dive in, and that's why it's good to have a big variety of channels, I guess. I'm not going to be, jerking people around with every story that comes out every day. I just don't see the point. It's impossible to make any progress. You won't make any progress. I tried that for a while, and it just doesn't work. And yeah, it creates blind spots. Of course, it creates some blind spots, but so I'm just not looking at it. But still, oh well, thank you, Green. Well, right now I think we are at a momentary plateau right now. Just not long time. Maybe just a day, maybe just a couple of days. And just, boy. I did see that David Knight, some people may have heard of David Knight before. I think a lot of people in my chat would have. He was on InfoWars for a while. And I'm sure he had his bias. I'm sure there's plenty of things he said that I haven't agreed with, but I've always liked his style, right? He always seemed to have a good style about him. He seemed to be, making an attempt to do things professionally, and appears to have always been fairly well, how would you say, his references were always good. He always had evidence behind everything, at least he believed everything he said. And when InfoWars let him go, it was like, well, I mean, that could have been staged, but he's had a hard time, having the same visibility. And I don't know, he was on the Jane Ruby show, and well, I don't know. I mean, Jane Ruby is, well, Jane Ruby, but David Knight did comment he started to comment a little bit on September 11th and the psyop of the anthrax letters and what was done to get people to potentially be open to whatever, the state, the Model State Emergency Powers Act, and so on, Patriot Act. But I think what he's missing is the relevance of the medical issue, of the vaccine issue with 2001. And many people are still missing the potential, not the potential, but the abundance of evidence going up to and into September 11th, 2001 about all the reasons to try out a new vaccine technology. I think I don't think he's aware. Very few people know about this, even though it's abundantly documented. It's just a matter of asking the question. Matter of fact, if anyone asks a question and starts to do some Google searches, was there any discussion? Was there any pontification? Was there any exploration of new vaccine technologies before 2001 and anthrax and so on? They would find several years of almost nonstop fascination with it. The evidence is just there. But it's not a question that when you look at the primary research literature for September 11th, 2001, there's nothing in that literature that would encourage people to even ask the question of, were they talking about vaccine stockpiles for 4 years going into 9/11? I mean, why would anyone even ask that question? That's a crazy question to ask. I never asked that question up until, a few years ago, after the start of COVID-19. So it's good that he's putting those ideas out there anyways. Let's see. Hello, Christy. How you doing, Christy? Good to have you here. Something's banned. Suspicious user. Let's see here. I am doing a block right now, and if it was an accident, I apologize. Sometimes you just get a little bit of data on the screen about, hey, suspicious user, and it gives you some data. So if you just got blocked and you were trying to be good, I apologize. Yeah, I'm not going to be here for too long. I think he seems reasonable. I think he does. He might have tried. I'm so bad at all my communications. He might have tried. So, and in that sense, boy, now I'm just trying to get this stupid message out of my way here. Yeah, well, it just comes on my end because I'm the channel owner. That's all. So whatever. The tax issue is definitely humbling. I think this past year, I think the overall operational income is negative, which is fantastic. That's awesome. Now, granted, I'm not trying hard enough, with all my fundraising activities and so on. There's a lot of things I don't do. Some people have provided, some gifts and contributions and so on, and thank you. I think just a lot of the new electronics that I added, and the server update was probably, I don't know, that was probably $6,000 to $8,000 right there earlier last year. So I'm not trying to come up with excuses or anything, but again, it highlights how is it. Really, is it how much more needs to be done to go from this to, I don't know, enough to pay for a house and business travel? I don't understand how that happens. And in fact, I'm even one of the reasons why I'm willing and eager to share that particular reality is it should lead people to ask, well, how are all these other people getting paid? How does that happen? How are there apparently many millions of dollars to pay hundreds of people? I don't understand it. I don't get it. In fact, I actually lost my largest supporter last year. You want to know why? Because they wanted me to talk about China in a particularly unfavorable way. I don't have feelings of love or hate for other countries. I've said this before. It is obvious to me that there are forces within the United States' own government that has actually signed off on policies of mass murder of Americans. And I see other people who apparently can have all of their bills paid doing exactly what I do, share messages regularly that has nothing to do, you just ignore the drug epidemic, has nothing to do with lowering life expectancy. That's shocking. So somehow some people are actually getting paid enough to travel the world to incorrectly state that the drug epidemic in the United States is disconnected from lowering life expectancy. They're actually getting paid presumably $100,000 a year or more. And that doesn't even include health benefits and travel and everything else. Where in my situation, I don't make anything. I get enough to cover, the computers, the backup drives, the subscription accounts, and so on and so forth. And I'm trying to get people to see that the drug epidemic has been the main reason and the only reason why life expectancy has gone down in the United States. Matter of fact, it was going down in 2019 before COVID even started. And there were 68,000 drug overdose deaths that year. So, I mean, I talk about this because it should highlight where is all of that money coming from to pay people to actually make a organized effort to not talk about or to hide or to lie. There you go. It doesn't make it, And, I mean, I know I've definitely highlighted some of those things. But anyways, going back to the China issue, if try to think of it this way, okay? If your neighbors are bad people, right? If they have a dog that takes a crap on your yard, your lawn, if your neighbors, they blow their leaves to the front yard and then they blow onto your yard. If your neighbors, you actually see them dumping out the old car oil in your backyard. Well, those are bad neighbors, right? You don't want to have neighbors like that. Now, I wouldn't excuse having bad neighbors. But if there happens to be someone that just broke into my house and is wielding a knife, I have to deal with the problem at hand first. I can't say, you know what? I know you're in the house. I know you got a knife and you want to kill someone, but I have to deal with these corrupt neighbors of mine. And this is kind of like my issue with all of these global politics. I'm not into Israel or Gaza or Russia or China or Europe or anyone else's problems. I have someone in my own house wielding a knife. And until all of these other assholes online stop saying, well, there's obviously no evidence that there's someone wielding a knife in your house and you should be worried about the deadly novel neighbor or something like that, or China, there's no capacity in me to worry about other countries. I know this is not a popular spin, but I don't have a channel to bash other countries. Even if they deserve it, I can't get there until the knife-wielding invader in my own house is dealt with. And this is that whole concentric rings. You got to deal with the issues that are at hand first. And I'm willing to admit my own failed contributions to my own country. That has to be all part of it. It's not just, other people's, making my life difficult. But, geez. So because I am not getting on board, China bad, I lost basically almost, a big percentage of my funding. My top supporter was, financially anyway, was gone. And that's okay. I'm not going to change the way I got into this specifically because of my family's direct experience with the drug epidemic and chronic fatigue. And then I just, started to sense that there was some more, there was a lot more lying about U.S. history anyways and recent history than I was aware of, and I think most people were aware of. And I had a background in research, and anyways, one thing led to the other, one thing led to the next, and here we are. But so to that supporter, I'm so grateful of everything that you helped me with, and I'm sorry I couldn't be what you perhaps wanted more of. And I understand if someone has a particular fire in their belly, something that they feel passionate about, they would want to support channels that focus on those things. I get it. And in fact, if I had a particular connection to where I felt very afraid, very worried about other country, I would want, if I had any money to donate, to go to other people that focused on that issue. So there you have it. And so there's no surprises here. And it's funny, though. I'll say this. This is my last thought, okay? My last thought. I hope it's not. Where's that red dot? If you look at the video I shared about the Purdue Pharma case, about hundreds of thousands of people who have been part of that lawsuit against Purdue Pharma and people have been injured by or killed by drug overdoses in the surviving family, etc. Addictions which started out oftentimes through the use of pain medicines from Purdue Pharma. You'll notice that right now, when you factor in the total quantity of the lawsuit, which is in the billions, by the number of people who are suing, minus the lawyer fees, minus the corporations that are involved, like there's pharmacies that believe they should get retribution as well. You're quickly at the point where you're in the single thousands and possibly even just a few $100s being given to a family that had someone killed by a drug overdose that might have started with addiction from Purdue Pharma. So in other words, something which has taken, well, I mean, depending upon what time frame you're looking at, in that video they said 900,000 lives. So let's just say 1 million. Oh, by the way, we only have 300 million people in the country. You start doing that math. That means what? 1 out of every 300 people has been taken over the last 10 or 12 years. How is that? How is that not a top issue? But anyways, actually, they would probably use a 15-year time frame. It's interesting that not only in real life, for people who are part of that lawsuit, are they basically only going to get like a couple of McDonald's gift certificates at the end of the day. They're basically not going to get anything. But also likewise, my channel, where I have no pride in this, I represent more deaths than any other individual podcaster in the United States right now. There is no other podcaster, as far as I know, who's done recent history, who is so passionate about the drug overdose issue, and who represents several 100,000 deaths that no one else is willing to talk about. There are probably, and I'm not even going to exaggerate, 4,500 channels which talk about nothing about except Epstein and a photo where he put his hand on someone's belly. And Conor McGregor. The ratio of the quantity of pain and suffering and death that I represent on my channel with so few subscribers is absolutely monstrous relative to all other channels. And just like that Purdue Pharma lawsuit, there's no money in it. Isn't that interesting? There's money if I talk about Conor McGregor. There's money if I hate Israel. There's money if I hate Palestine. There's money if I hate Russia. There's money if I hate China. There's money if I hate Republicans. There's money if I hate Democrats. There's money if I hate Trump. There's money if I hate Clinton. Isn't that amazing? There's money if I talk about Epstein. But there's no money to talk about the drug overdose issue. And you know what? That shouldn't be a surprise because the Purdue Pharma lawsuit more or less says that that's exactly what the base is going to be. You're going to do it out of your own pocket because no one else cares. There's nothing salacious. There's nothing sexy. There's nothing fun about it. And oh, by the way, if I do want money, I need to be like a Jessica Rose or a Pierre Corey or an Ed Dowd, and I need to take the money to say, no, the drug overdoses are not why life expectancy is going down. If I deny the existence or the impact of the drug epidemic in the United States, then I get money. So if you want to keep calling me a grifter, have at it. Because right now, I'm grifting for nothing. Except for you guys. Your friendship and your support. And I didn't mean, please, if you support the channel, and those who do, please, 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 please. I mean, unless you're just, you're tripping over piles of cash in your house, okay? This isn't about a complaint to you to step up. This is not, okay? God has been gracious to me with respect to the fact that I've had a fairly successful career before this, and I've been able to float for a while, okay? And I have a supportive family, and I'm able to still do it in spite of several years right now loss of income at my peak earning years. This isn't about that. So please, okay, I have people who are on fixed incomes and low incomes. Please, okay,
Everything you've done means so much. And this is not turning into a begging issue. It's just, this is actually to highlight the nature of this field of podcasting, and it actually is to reinforce my belief that what we probably have had, and I'm still going to struggle with the words, I do believe that it was agreed upon and it was endorsed, strategized to have this uncontrolled and silenced drug epidemic to kill young people, or enough young people to create data to say that there was a deadly novel virus and to support the biosecurity state. You can read about the story of Gary Webb and about how he proposed that it was likely that CIA and Iran-Contra, and I don't really even understand all the details, were involved in fueling drug wars in Los Angeles and in the gangs in Los Angeles in the 1980s, early 1990s. I don't know how much of that is true. Wouldn't surprise me at all. But the scale of the quantity of drug fatalities which were allowed to happen over the last several years, and to think that it was because one family wanted to make a few extra dollars, and that's why the Department of Justice allowed them to walk away free in 2005 and 2006, I suspect that it was agreed upon that this drug epidemic was going to happen and it was going to be allowed, and people weren't going to talk about it because they needed to murder enough young people. First, I believe it started off with demographic adjustments because, strangely, the only people that were dying and getting the toxic heroin and the fentanyl-laced marijuana, oddly enough, were only red districts in swing states. Red districts in red states didn't have the problem. Isn't that strange? And for the most part, blue states didn't have much of a problem either. It's really fascinating. It's almost as if laced drugs were actually targeting people to adjust voting demographics. And I think that was the case in 2014, 15, and 16. The issue then started to slowly get fixed, but then they ramped it up because they needed to murder a lot of young people to create the data to suggest we had a deadly novel virus. And that is why there is money to deny the fact that this happened. And there's no money to say the truth. There's no money to say the truth. And that's okay. That's all right. I'm old enough that I can start doing the math. It's whatever. I sleep good at night knowing what I'm doing. And hopefully you can sleep good at day. Good at day. If you need to sleep in a day, go for it. But good knowing that your investment here, for those who support it, has paid off. So anyways, I'm going to go chill for a little bit. And so just so you know, this is my headspace right now. My energy for the next couple of days is kind of here. And I think tomorrow I'm slowly going to start to read this book again. I'm going to delete the old videos I've had, because I've had major revelations about the nature of virology, along with some other people. I have others to thank, but I think what I've observed and what I've read in some of these books that came out around 9/11, there were some things in there that I was missing that now I can see, and it's going to be fun. So I want to reread these books, re-narrate them, and it may be a little boring, but I think I need a week of boring to get me through where I am right now. So, guys, thank you very much. Thank you. Take care. God bless. And I will just a check-in show. I will see you guys tomorrow. Definitely, promise for sure. God bless.